Okay, so this is in response to Pimp Swimmer 666, and this was in response to an original question that you asked me. You thought that I was exaggerating on some of the things that I was talking about in my American Idol video, and just as an answer for your question or comment, as as for the waiting portion that you said 12 hours, that's a little ridiculous. It was 12 hours. We were there early in the morning at 5:30. We got an audition at 5:30, and at that point, I was just tired and didn't care anymore. So I'm not exaggerating. If you look on my comment section underneath the video, you actually see some people saying, "Look, I didn't get there. I was in section 23, and I didn't get an audition until 11 at night." So it's not me exaggerating about the time. It was very slow. There was also a portion of the day where the judges went to lunch, and they went to lunch from 11 until 1 o'clock. And there was only 4 or 5 booths open for that time. So I'm not exaggerating about the time. That slowed it down a lot. And here was the itinerary today. It said that we got there 5 or 6 in the morning, and the gates would open around 8, which happened about 8:15. And then it takes about an hour for everyone to get seated, and that's what I expected. It also took about 1 hour of us to do the dancing, the theme song, and for the city. In our case, it was California Lovin' and Walking on Sunshine. So California Lovin'. Anyway, and it took about an hour to do that. And then around about 10 a.m., that's when the actual audition started. And I don't think people knew how long the wait was going to be. And some people also were under the impression, at least in the San Diego audition, that we could not bring food or water into the stadium. I myself brought 2 liters of water for myself, and it still wasn't enough. The people that I went with also brought 2 liters apiece of water. Plus, we brought some granola bars and some miscellaneous snacks. Wasn't enough food because we were there for so long. But and I knew that we were going to have to buy some food from the stadium, but I didn't think that we were going to be there for 12 hours. I went to 2 auditions before, and I estimated that we were going to be there until about 12, at least until about 12 to 2. Roughly about the same seating charts, 500 people per section, which I encountered in Las Vegas and San Francisco, which is about right, 500 people per section. And we still waited 12 and a half hours to get an audition. We were in section 13 of 29. And if you look at some of my comments from my Shame on You American Idol video, some participants in section 23 did not get there until 11 p.m., an incredible 16 hours. The previous editions that were like this, it wasn't this disorganized. They would give you your seat number compared to when you got there. There was one person who complained that they were about the 50th person in line. I don't know. I can't verify this, but they were in section 5. And I heard a lot of people like this. It seemed like they were giving out the tickets completely randomly. When I went to the San Francisco and the Las Vegas editions, they were giving them ticket by ticket in the section and order that you came into the stadium. So if you were in section 107, you were ahead of the people in section 108. Or in the issue of the Cow Palace, if you were in section 6, you were ahead of people in section 9. And that's how I thought it was going to be, but it wasn't like that. People in front of us in the line earlier in the day that they were going to let us into the stadium had section 23, and they received the tickets at 9:30 a.m. on Saturday. We received our tickets on 7:30 p.m. on Sunday, and the auditions were on Monday. So we had section 13, they had section 23, 10 sections away. In no particular order, for some reason. And some people got really good auditions without even being there earlier. And then they also asked us to come in early. And what had happened in my previous editions is that the gates would open in one area, maybe 6 or 7 gates at the same time. And then they would screen our bags, put us through metal detectors, just to make sure there were no guns, knives, or whatever. And they didn't do that this time. They just said, open your bag, and if they didn't see anything really, then, a big giant gun, then they let you in. Then no questions asked. So it could have been easily, someone could have easily brought in a weapon. Who knows? I don't know. In previous years, tickets weren't given out at random. There was almost one point in the section right next to us that there was a riot. There almost was a riot. There was booing, throwing of cans and bottles, people throwing their bag, getting pissed off and cursing at the police. The police had to come. So I'm not being farce or anything. It's not me exaggerating. People thought I was exaggerating when I told them that the situation at work. They're like, no, it couldn't have been that bad. It was that bad. It was that bad. And I have people who corroborate on all of the situations that I had at American Idol. It's not me exaggerating. It really was what happened. So, yeah. I know people should bring water and everything like that. But some of the stadiums don't allow you to bring in food. This stadium let you bring in food, and I brought in food and water as much as I could. About, 30 pounds of it. But because water weighs about 8 pounds per gallon, so brought in a lot of water, brought in a lot of food. Still not enough. So I'm not being farce. I'm not being stupid. I'm not exaggerating. If you look at my comments, people corroborate on what happened. The horrible day we had in our San Diego American Idol edition. Enjoy.